Hey YouTube, welcome back. It's episode 10. I kind of screwed up all the episode numbers because I took a break a couple weeks ago, and I think episode 9 should have really been episode 8, and now this is episode 10, but it's a recap on week 11. Just to confuse you any more than you probably already are. It's good to be back. It's been a couple weeks. Around the 4th of July, I decided I was going to take a break in a couple different arenas of my life. I took a step away from social media. I took probably my first, vacation, I guess. I'll go into that a little bit more. And I also decided to take a break from my diet as well. So let's chat about it. So I took a step away from social media for probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Now at this point, I'm getting back into that groove again, but being so consistent with content on social media was one of the things that I worked on during the COVID lockdown, and I did a lot of research and investigating on how I could optimize this for myself, and things that I could talk about every week, or and it's a lot of work, and it has been especially a lot of work with my return back to bartending. It's been just kind of another thing that's on my plate, and although I've been able to keep up with it, I needed to just give my brain a break. So it's also really challenging to keep up with this stuff when I'm traveling back and forth from Vermont to Connecticut. So just really needed to step away from that. So went quiet for a little while there. Had an awesome 4th of July. The 4th of July is my favorite holiday. I just love it. I love summer. July is my favorite month of the year, aside from maybe October. And it's just so fun, as long as the weather's nice, you go outside, the sun is out, you get tan, you can wear a bikini, you eat barbecue food and drink, and it's just a good time, right? At least it should be anyway. And yeah, I had an awesome 4th. I spent it out on the lake with Matt and my sister and Josh. And it was so fun, and we saw Chelsea and Jake too, and it was just a really great weekend. Had a lot of fun. So there was that, and then so my vacation was that. So I was able to cram the week before and get all of my homework done so that when I left for Connecticut, so I drove down Saturday morning, and I didn't come back until the following Wednesday. I didn't have to worry about school. I didn't have to worry about school until Tuesday the following week, which was amazing. So I had 3 whole days away from school, which has not happened in forever. This semester has been a lot more manageable than previous semesters, so it was just really nice. I mean, I'm used to working on school shit up until the very last minute on a Sunday when everything is due, because there's just been so much stuff, and this semester is not like that. So I was able to actually portion out my time the right way and get it done, and it felt so good to be able to not worry about it. I also took an out of office from SM Nutrition, which was awesome too, and yeah, it was just a really much needed break. I also used this opportunity to kind of take a step back from my diet as well. So the last time I had taken a diet break at this point was around Memorial Day. I believe it was the week after Memorial Day that I decided to diet break. And this time around wasn't a diet break per se, but more of just a break in general. I used intuitive eating during this time to just make sure I wasn't going overboard, which is kind of hard for me to do anyway at this point, but I didn't track anything, I didn't weigh anything, I enjoyed things in moderation, and just got back on track the following week, which is week 11. So definitely a much needed break, and week 11 got back on track. So I made a macronutrient adjustment downward during week 11. So I was at 55 grams of fat, 160 grams of carbs, and 125 grams of protein for 1,640 calories. During week 11, I decided to bring that down. I felt like I was starting to see a plateau for a couple different reasons. We'll talk about it. So I ended up bringing my fats up to 60 grams because during the last adjustment, I was just consistently going over it. I was having a hard time staying under 55 grams. Just not really willing to give up the, whole eggs in the morning. And I love cooking with goat cheese, and I love Kalamata olives, and everything that I cook is in olive oil. So, yeah, needed a little bit more leeway there. So I brought my fats back up to 60, which I know it's just 5 grams, but it definitely has made things a little bit more attainable. I dropped my carbohydrates to 125, which was a little terrifying, but we did it. So my calories are only 100 calories less at 1,540 calories. This is the final adjustment that I will be making in this diet. I will not be making another calorie drop down. 125 grams of carbs is the absolute lowest that I am willing to go. I will not be going any lower than that. So I made this adjustment down because I, one, want it to be the adjustment that carries me through the end of this diet. Two, I kind of had adjusted my exercise activity in response to my increase in NEAT. So back in June, I had mentioned how much extra activity I was bringing in with my return to work. Working 4 nights a week for 4 or 5 hours. I never tracked my steps. I hate the little step tracker thing. It's in my backpack still. I haven't put it on. But my coworkers have mentioned that anywhere between like 15 and 20,000 steps in a night. I mean, it's a lot. I saw like a 3-pound weight loss difference in 1 week after I returned to work, as I was maintaining my training, 3 times a week and running 3 to 4 times a week. So I actually cut that back. Naturally, my weight training kind of got cut back because I'm in the last month of my semester. I'm actually done in 2 weeks, which is so awesome. So that kind of got pushed to the side, especially since now the weekends are really the only time that I get to see Matt. So I try to get all of my work done before the weekend so that when he is here or I go down to Connecticut, that I don't have to worry about it. But I also stopped running 4 times a week. A lot of it has to do with the fact that it's been so godforsakenly hot and humid here. I mean, anybody in the Northeast can attest to how hellish the past month and a half has been with the weather. So running and training outside has not really been what I've wanted to do. So my running went from 3 to 4 days to 1, maybe 2 days a week. So I cut back my exercise activity. I've been a little bit more sedentary because I've been focusing so much on work, schoolwork. So definitely probably could have stayed at that calorie intake had I brought that activity back, which I plan on bringing it back anyway. So that could be another reason for my plateau, is that I may have done too much of an adjustment in exercise activity in response to my increase in NEAT. But we're going to bring that back. So calorie adjustment, and we're going to try and bring the training and the running back. I think I can do it. I've got a lot of stuff going on right now that I'm juggling, so I don't want to overburden myself. And unfortunately, when it comes to having to worry about all these different moving parts, when it comes to having to create content and create social media posts and blog posts and YouTube videos and schoolwork and then working and then driving 3.5 hours to Connecticut, all of these things kind of take a toll, and my exercise ends up being what gets the chopping block, unfortunately. So, I'm going to try to combat that, because that's not what I want. I don't like how I feel when I don't work out. So, I'm also stuck at a plateau with my running. I cannot get below 7 minutes and 50 seconds, which is amazing. I never thought in a million years that I would be here, but I know a lot of it has to do with the fact that I have not been consistent with my running. So also another reason why I want to bring that activity level back up. So I want to be done with this diet ASAP. I mean, it's summertime, being in a relationship, and we only get to see each other on the weekends, really. So, let's go out to dinner, let's go get drinks, let's make dinner together, let's go outside and drink a bottle of wine and blah, 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 whatever it is. Or let's go on the boat and, enjoy drinking, because that's what we do. these things definitely have negative implications on a fat loss diet. So I could be a lot more compliant, but I look at it this way, you know, especially over the past several years with more information coming out, it is very, very clear that spending enough time at maintenance and having enough refeed days and all of this is very beneficial during a fat loss diet for a couple of different reasons. Lean body mass is probably, or lean body mass preservation is probably one of the more highly talked about topics when it comes to returning to maintenance calories during a fat loss phase, as well as keeping some of our metabolic hormones upregulated, some of those that become suppressed or can change in response to reduced calorie intake. So there's definitely a lot of benefits that have been observed in science that would indicate that spending more time at maintenance during a fat loss phase could be beneficial on a few different levels. Not only for the longevity and the success of the diet, but just overall maintaining your lean body mass, especially if you want to obviously hold on to your muscle. I definitely would love to do that. But also mentally too, just having that break. I mean, looking back on past diets, I mean, I've dieted so aggressively before that I've nearly passed out at a table because it was just, yeah. I wish that we knew this. I wish that we knew this years ago. But anyway, definitely okay with that. You know, could I have made more progress sooner had I, been a little bit more tighter. You know, these last few pounds, I think I'm averaging around 137 right at the moment. I've been trying my clothes on. I'm trying to use those more as an indicator of my progress because right now the weight has been kind of up and down. I'm like 136 one day, 138 the next, blah, 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 blah. I also just went through my cycle. So that's also water retention and hormones are also playing a role here as well. So kind of just trying to get a feel for what's really happening, using progress photos to kind of, compare before and after. My clothing is the greatest indicator. So I try things on every couple of weeks just to see, and things that were fitting tighter around the 4th of July are fitting better now, but I'm still not quite there. So I have a little bit more to go. I want to be done with this. I'm over it. I want to be able to kind of pull back on the tracking a little bit more than I have been. Especially during this diet, my focus has been more on the quality of the food that I'm eating. I think in the past, my diets have always been so focused on macros and hitting specific numbers. But this time around, I really focus on my food sources. I really emphasize getting in enough fruits and vegetables. I want to eat different color vegetables. Cooking in olive oil, making fun sauces. Like last night I made a pesto sauce. Being able to use the fresh herbs that I have in my garden. It's fun to experiment with those things, especially during lockdown. I experimented so much with cooking and I continue to do that. I really want to make a recipe ebook, so I'm really practicing for that. It can be challenging to experiment with things when you have to stay, within 1,540 calories, which is not really what I want to be doing. So definitely want to finish up this diet. I want to start reverse dieting. I want to reduce the amount that I am relying on tracking my food. So hoping that by the time I'm done with my finals, which is August 9th, that I'll be ready to do that. We'll see how it goes, because after August 9th, that is when I'm going to be transitioning a couple of things. So I mentioned, I think it was last episode, so a couple weeks ago, that I had some big news to talk to you guys about, and I did mention it on social media. I think it was like last week or whatever, but I'm going to be splitting my time more between Vermont and Connecticut come August 9th. This week actually is the last week that I will be bartending at the Garlic in Killington, which is very bittersweet. And I will be transitioning from being here to being in Connecticut more full time, which is very hard for me to say and to do. It's been a back and forth game in my mind. I mean, I can't make a decision if my life depended on it. So this was really hard for me to 100% be good for. But I've decided that this is kind of the direction that life is pushing me in right now. The past 2 years with me moving to Vermont and making Vermont my home. I mean, I think people who have done this may be able to resonate with this. When you go somewhere and fall in love with a place, you need to be there. There is just a thing, there's just a feeling inside of you, you need to be a place. And that is what Vermont is for me. This state has become my home. I love so many things about being here. And, especially being here in Rutland, where there is a little bit more of a concentrated community with a bigger amount of people, I just come to realize over the past few months how much this has become home. It's profound. I came here not knowing anybody. I didn't know a single person. And now I do know people, and I go to the farmer's market on Saturdays. Some of the businesses, the people there, they know me on a first name basis, and I know them on a first name basis. People saying, "Hey, Steph," as you walk by. Pretty cool. Because I literally came here not knowing anybody. And during lockdown, I kind of felt like I didn't have anybody here. And I guess that's probably true. I mean, I have friends here. It's just my tribe is in Connecticut, and that's that's a big reason why I'm going back. The primary reason, honestly, is because, Matt and I are together now, and that is something that I did not see coming at all. And I just want to be with him, and it sucks having to drive back and forth. It's nice that we're keeping my apartment, so that's number one. We're keeping my apartment here. None of that is changing. All of my things are staying here. Nothing is leaving, except for the clothes that I need, and maybe a couple other things like my Ninja blender, because Matt doesn't have one. And I might be bringing my desk, or I might be making a new setup when I go there. There's just some things are coming. Most things are staying. So we're going to have this place here because Matt also loves to snowboard and snowmobile and likes to go to the swimming holes with me and wants to explore Vermont. I mean, what is being in a place that you love if you can't share it with somebody that you love? So that's kind of like how I've been feeling, It's like, here I am. I'm here to work. I've been working my butt off for the past 2 years. I literally came here, put my head down, and worked for 2 years straight. And now I'm kind of ready to emerge from that. My degree, I will be done in 2 semesters. So this semester is coming to an end in 2 weeks. I have the fall and the spring semester. And, big things are going to happen in the next year for me. And I'm not really sure what path I'm going to go in when I graduate, but I also know that going to Connecticut will give me a little bit more of an opportunity when it comes to having an internship. So I have to get an internship to get clinical hours in so that I can become certified to be a certified nutrition specialist. And I know exactly where I want to go. I don't know yet if it's going to happen, so I'm not going to say anything, but I know who I want to internship under. And I think it'll be good for me to kind of get back into that space just because I have a little bit more of a network there than I do here. Although I am growing that here, which is good. I'm excited to be able to do both. So it's funny because my original plan was to come here and start creating a network. And I think I got very frustrated in the beginning because it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. It's also a little bit different here in terms of word of mouth and all of that. But I feel like I am starting to grow that network here, which is awesome. So I'm excited to be able to do both. But I feel like now, having done this for 2 years, and I've put so much time and effort into growing my business over the past couple of months, especially with getting my programming onto an app, which has been very, very successful. Everybody that I'm working with right now loves having their program accessible via an app, and it's very cool. I'm very, very proud and excited to be able to offer that to my people. I think that I will be returning to an area where I could have a decent portion of the market share. And I'm excited to be able to be going back into an environment where maybe what I do is a little bit more widely, I don't want to say accepted, but taking advantage of, maybe. I don't know. I think, I don't really know what I'm trying to say. I think maybe it's something that's a little bit more realistic for people in their lives. You know, we have a lot more people that go to the gym, a lot more people that are into health and fitness. Not saying that people here are not, but it is a little bit of a different demographic. And, you know, people here are more into their outdoor activities versus going and, you know, lifting heavy things up and down in a gym. Also, COVID has really changed that too. So just a couple things. But kind of getting used to how that is up here. Again, I'm very excited to grow my network up here and keep nurturing that, because I don't know, I may want to open my nutrition practice here. Listen, straight up, I want to be here. I love Vermont. I want to live here. And I'm very grateful that I can continue to keep my home here. And depending on what the next couple of years look like, Matt and I plan on exploring other areas of the state. I may eventually open my nutrition practice here. So I don't know, we'll see. Big things. I'm looking probably too far ahead at this point, but at this moment, everything in my life seems to be pointing in the direction of Connecticut. I miss my family. I want to be with my boyfriend. Holly, who's not even here with me, is at home with Matt and his dog Dozer. They're best friends now. So we keep them together. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, being here alone, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my house. I genuinely wake up happy here every single day, but I'm sad being alone. I've been alone for 2 years. And I did really appreciate that loneliness. I liked it. I liked being independent, but I need to kind of go back with my people, be with my people, and explore this new chapter. This is a very big, I feel it. It's a period of transition for me, and it's time for me to grow. And we can't grow until we are in space where we are not necessarily comfortable. So we're going to see what happens. If it doesn't work, and this is exactly what I said when I was leaving Connecticut to come here, if it doesn't work, I can always go back. If this doesn't work, I can always go back, because I'm keeping my apartment here and all my things. I'm not moving. I'm going to be here. My goal, I'm going to get a beater so that I don't have to rock miles up on my STI. I'm going to get a beater. I plan on being here quite a bit. You know, this is my house, my space, and summer is my favorite season here in Vermont, and I know that that's coming to an end very soon anyway. But I figure, you know, if it doesn't work, or I'm really not digging the Connecticut life, because there are things that I absolutely cannot stand about that state, I can just come back. You know, we'll make it work. But I'm very excited that I am in a place where I can put more focus into my business, and I can lean on my business a little bit more to help me pay my bills. Because for a while, especially earlier this year, I think I got comfortable with the fact that my business was kind of lower on the list of priorities, and lockdown made me realize how wrong that was. Because the main reason, one of the biggest reasons why I started my business, not only because I obviously love nutrition and I want to help people, is because I don't want anybody controlling my money. And having COVID lock everything down, and then I had to apply for unemployment for the first time in my life, and then on top of it I had to wait 8-9 weeks before I got paid. Oh, I did not like that. But it lit the biggest fire under my ass to make sure that I didn't, You know, that I brought that business from one of the lesser priorities back to the top. And now when I'm not, you know, at my battle station, when I'm at work, I'm behind the bar, I'm thinking about my clients, I am thinking about conversations I could be having, content I could be creating, all of the stuff that I can't do when I'm there. You know, and don't get me wrong, I love bartending, I do, but there's nothing like nurturing your own. It's like, you know, I'm sure it's probably maybe kind of like, it's my baby, you know? And I've kept it alive. And yeah, I want to focus more on it, and I want to grow it, because I see how much I've been able to accomplish in just these short 3.5, 4 months. Now, let me amplify that, you know, let me pull back on bartending a little bit. Let me put a little bit more chips in on my business, and let's see what I can do in the next 4 months. I don't know. It's just that time to roll the dice again. I've had to do that a couple times over the past several years. It's time to do it again. I'm excited to do it again. I am meeting this with, you know, head up, chest up, in the eyes. Come at me. I am ready to do this. Oh God. All right. This is probably 1,000,000 years long. I'm going to go. It's good to be back, YouTube. Thank you so much. If you want to see more content like this, drop me a comment below. Subscribe to my channel. Subscribe to my channel. Please. Love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. I will catch you next week on episode 11. Take care, guys. Have a great week.